Adverb clauses are sentences that can help us discuss time and in a relationship to time. We can use these adverb clauses for many different tenses, but it's important we use these all correctly. In these sentences, we're going to have a part of the sentence that's an adverb clause and a part of a sentence that's our main clause. When we put these together, it makes a good sentence. So if we're going to do this in present tense, both of my verbs can be in present tense. After I go home, I feed my cats. If we say the sentence, I feed my cats, this is a good sentence by itself. If I only say, after I feed my cats, period, that is not a good sentence. If we say, after I feed my cats, I need to have a comma, and then you need to finish the sentence. So here we say, after I go home, I feed my cats. I can also say, I feed my cats after I go home. In this sentence, both are okay. But if we start with after I go home, we need a comma. But when after is in the middle, we do not need a comma. When I say past tense, both of my verbs will be in past tense. The past for go is went. The past for feed is fed. So if you can see here, after I went home, I fed my cats. So if we're doing this in present tense, they'll both be in present. If it's in past, they'll both be in past. It's a little different for future. If we're going to use a future adverb clause, when we say some of these words like after, before, when, while, I'm not going to use a future verb immediately after that. So here, after I go home, I will feed my cats. This first part, the adverb clause part, will not contain the future tense verb will or going to. It's going to be in the second part, I will feed my cats. And just like the other part, I can say, I will feed my cats after I go home. Same situation. When we have after or before, I'm not going to use the future verb here. I have some other examples for us here. Before we left class last week, we took a quiz. This is past tense. And again, we can also say, we took a quiz before we left class. Both are okay, but when we start with before, you'll need a comma, but if it's in the middle, we don't. Now be careful, you will not use a comma right after before. Please do not say before comma. It has to be a complete thought. Before we left the class. That's a complete thought. So with all of these, it has to be the clause, then the comma, not just a comma after the word. When I go to the restaurant, I will call you. This is a future idea. And because it's future, after the when, we're not going to use the future. When I go home, comma, this is where we can use the future. While means two things that are going to happen at the same time. As soon as means immediately after or very soon after. Here we have a few other examples. And here I have some practice for us. So maybe just for an example, I can say, as soon as I go home, I will cook dinner. This is a future tense idea. After I go home, I feed my cats. This one is present. So we could do either future or present depending on what we want. The second one is past tense. Woke is the past tense for wake. After I woke up this morning, I checked my phone. When I finished dinner, I watch TV. These are just a few examples, and don't forget to use the comma. Okay, so here I have some questions. What did you do after you graduated high school? Did is a past tense question. After I graduated high school, I went to university. What do you do before you go to sleep? Before I go to sleep, I brush my teeth. Do is a present tense question, so we're going to answer with present tense. For number 3, will is future tense, so we're going to answer with future. When we finish the class, I will eat. What did you do as soon as you woke up this morning? I answered that earlier. As soon as I woke up, I checked my phone. While means two things that happen at the same time. While I spend time with my family, we will watch the news. Whenever I am sad, I talk with my friends. So I hope these examples are useful. We'll do some more